everyone, today in this video, I'm going to be checking out the Narwal Freo Z Ultra. This is the latest and greatest from Narwal. They did send me the sample, but any opinion expressed in this video is strictly my own. Before you discredit me for getting the sample, just know that I already have 70 other robot vacuum cleaners and or RoboVacs and mops. I don't need another vacuum. I do this because I love doing this, testing and trying out products. So anyways, this is the look at the front of the box here with some additional features highlighted. Same can be said for the side, and same can be said for the back of the box with the included contents. And then we have another nice tile breakout here of some of those key features here. What you need to know is super strong suction power, 12,000 pascals, and AI enhanced mopping as well as cleaning and obstacle avoiding. That's what you're gonna get with this system right here. Now let's go ahead, let's open it up and see what's inside. Here are all the contents. Boy, oh boy, do we have a lot to go over. First, you'll notice our product literature consisting of safety instructions and a user guide and manual. Next, you'll find a universal power cord right here. We have our floor cleaning solution, lemon and basil, 19.6 fluid ounces. You can see the packaging right there for it. Then you'll notice that we have a ramp extension here for the base. Pretty cool. We have our left and right side cleaning brushes color-coded for us. Disposable vacuum bag with instructions right here, how to install. Extra replacement filter. We have an extra removable bin for the dustbin. We also have a first of its kind that I've seen baseboard cleaning module with instructions so we can install that on our vacuum to clean along our baseboards. Pretty sweet. Then we have the vacuum itself and the station. Let's look at these in more detail. At the top of the Z Ultra, you'll find the LiDAR navigation module, home and power controls, Narwal's logo and branding. This is a removable magnetic cover that just clicks back in place, revealing our removable dustbin with instructions. On this side, you'll find the filter, so we can remove that filter very easily. It just pulls right out to clean and replace. It's got Narwal's logo and branding on it. Then we have our removable dustbin insert that just pulls right out. What a unique design here. Narwal's branding all throughout. Transparent, you can see inside of it. Here's a look with the dustbin removed on the inside of the vacuum. This just snaps right back in place, and then the cover just goes right back on like that. Now let's look at it from the very front. We have our twin AI dodge right here with a protective sticker that we need to remove. So we'll go ahead, we'll pull that off right now. Take a look at that. Amazing. Twin AI dodge designed by Narwal. What a sweet sensor array. Here's that navigational bumper from the side. Here's a look at the back side with our charging contacts. Sticker to let us know we can remove the lid right there. And then we have a sensor on this side of the navigational bumper. And then we're back to our twin AI dodge right there. Now looking at the vacuum underneath, two spring-loaded drive wheels. We have our main brush roller right here with that really unique anti-tangling design. So cool how all the hair basically rolls and spins down as this gets smaller and narrower, and then it sucks it up and out through the channel right there. Very, very cool. One of my favorite brush rollers from a pet or long hair perspective. They don't get any better than this. We have our cliff sensors. You can see those there. We also have our left and right side cleaning brushes, and then we have our mopping system right there, as well as our omnidirectional wheel. While we have it here, let's go ahead, let's get these installed. So you just line them up and they're gonna snap right in place, just like so. So they got a unique shape. They'll only fit one way on there and color coded for us. So there's a look at everything set up on our RoboVac. Take a look at that finish, really cool. I love the glossy gray that they chose. And then we can open up the lid to reveal a quick start guide. Underneath the quick start guide is our dirty water tank and our clean water tank. Here's your close-up of both tanks. The dirty water tank is gonna be your clear tank right here. We can pop that lid open, see the float system on the inside for the dirty water. And then our clean water's in blue. We got a max indicator on both sides, letting us know when it's gonna be full. We filled it up all the way, and a slightly different system for this one to get us all of that water up and out of this tank for mopping and washing. Now looking at the front of this unit, this is the bottom, this is the top. It's just so large it wouldn't fit completely in frame the other way. So up at the top, we have this option here to remove our cover, revealing our solution spot, so we can add our solution there. And we have our vacuum dust bag right here for the self-empty that we can easily replace as needed. And they have instructions for you here to make sure you align the latches with the slots to put the cover back on. So align everything up just like so to put that cover back on. Further down, this is where all the magic happens. The washing, the emptying, the drying, everything will happen right here. And we actually have multiple removable trays for cleaning. The trays pull out from the side, so we can just grab it and pop it out. We could take the clear tray off first and just wash and clean that. And then we can take the main bottom tray off as well. Very clutch to have this feature. If you don't have this feature, you'll get a lot of nasty dirt and debris built up, and there's no easy way to clean it. It is quite the cleaning hassle. So this is an essential must-have design today for a premium flagship vacuum like this. So it's great to see that they have it included. Here's your left side profile when you're looking at it from the front. We have a grip handle up top. Here's your right side profile when looking at it from the front, and we have another grip handle up top to move the base around. Here's a look at the back side. We have our power plug option right there, but do want to point out that there's no built-in cable management or any channels for that cord to run or route along the bottom on either side. And now we're looking at the very bottom underside here. Here's the back and here's the front. On the front, you'll notice that we have that extension ramp that can install right there and clip right in. Then we have our main suction channel here that's transparent and see-through, and just a couple of Phillips head screws. If we ever have a clog, we'll be able to visually see the clog and know where we need to clean once we take this cover off. Here's our extension ramp. We're gonna go ahead, we're gonna line it up just like so, and you'll see it snap into place. It's that simple to install the extension ramp. Let's finish setting this up so we can try it out. First, we're gonna add our solution, then add our water, charge it up, and start cleaning.
start soon. Start dust bag drying and disinfection. Mop washing started. Started to prepare electrolyzed water.
All right, with our first clean out of the way, let's take a look at the results. So we'll start with the vacuum here. Up at the top looks great. We do have some hair and dust that has collected on the unit, as you would expect, as it's agitating and picking up everything on the floor. We'll look at it from the side right here. Looks great. A little bit of dust here and there. Just make sure every once in a while you're wiping off the contacts, the sensors, things like that. You can see some dust in there as well. Looking at it from the underside, no tangles here on the side cleaning brushes, no tangles on the main cleaning brush, which is what I've come to expect with this style. Again, this is superior to everything else on the market today. This is the way to go if you have a lot of pet hair, long human hair, things like that. Very cool and clever design. Now we're looking at the mop pads. This does have the cleaning, washing, drying, all of that good stuff here. And I do see some discoloration on the mop pads already. So just expect something similar in your experience. Again, this is only after one clean. Now moving along, I wanted to show you what the bottom of the base station looks like too. Very clean here. Again, we have the insert that comes out, so we can remove that. Looks as good as new. And then underneath this bottom plate has a little bit of moisture still and a little bit of residue buildup right here. So just keep an eye on this every once in a while. You might want to take it out and rinse it off. But wait, there's more. Don't think I'd forget about showing you the dustbin. So I intercepted this before it would do itself empty, so I could show you the contents of what it's actually vacuuming up in the real world. So here's our dustbin right here. We'll go ahead, we'll pop this out so we can look at it in a little bit more detail. Being careful not to make a big mess. As I just did right there, I dumped a bunch of it out. But take a look at that. We got all of our pet hair, dirt, and dust crammed into this bin. And let's work all the contents out of the bin so we can see everything in a little bit more detail right here. Tons of pet hair, some human hair, a lot of crumbs, just the typical stuff you'd find in your household. Really fine dirt and dust trapped in there as well. We got a leaf. So you can get a feel realistically of what you can expect for this vacuum to pick up. And you'll see more or less depending on how often you run your vacuum. This is just after one pass, and the previous day we already had ran a different robot vacuum cleaner. So I'm impressed that we were able to still pick up this much stuff just in 24 hours in my household, which consists of 4 humans, 3 of which are very long-haired, and then we have a furry long-haired dog as well. Let's spend a minute going over the Narwal app so you can get a feel for the layout and the settings and controls that you have. So here's a look at the device setup within our app, where we can enter into it to view our map, to see our home environment, where we can clean by room or zones. Very simple to set up. Everything's drag and drop, highly customizable. Down here, you'll notice we have our vacuum and mop settings, so we can activate Freo mode if we want. You can learn more about that right here by hitting that question mark, and then it walks you through the Freo mind, so you can get used to that. You can also configure the Freo settings, and we can configure our own cleaning settings as well by toggling that off. You can choose the cycle, suction power, humidity settings, basically how wet you want the mop, coverage precision, standard or meticulous. Then we have a couple more settings here we can look at. So return and mop washing strategy. Every X amount of square feet you can choose, and you can wash mops by room if you want. So all of that can be configured right there within the app. So vacuum and mop, vacuum then mop, vacuum, mop, and customization options right here where you can choose different parameters for each room. So a lot of options there to look at. We have our tasks down at the bottom, our cleaning history, and then up at the top in the very right-hand corner, we have our settings gear icon. This takes us to our device and firmware information. Here's the Freo mode settings. If you want to configure that differently right here, you can do that. Suction power, humidity, you get the idea. Coverage precision. You can toggle that on or off. Then we have our clean settings here. We already looked at that. Our general settings. So if you want to turn on stairless mode, this will help if you have large floor transitions. We have high altitude mode to adjust suction power. Really cool. Child lock, family with pets, auto power off. You can enable those or disable those as you see fit. Then we have our base station settings here. Automatically add detergent. Auto dust bin bag bacterial control. You can toggle that on or off. Dust bag health index. So you can track that over time. Then you have your drying options, cleaning modes, smart temperature controlled mopping system, auto dust collection settings, different modes. So very, very customizable with the base station. Then we have our map settings here. So we can edit our maps. First, let's look at map list. So we can save multiple maps, up to 4 maps at a time. And then from the maps, you can do so much here. Split, merge, rename. You can add furniture. You can set your carpet settings here, which you definitely need to do. So go ahead and you can choose the default carpet setting, how you want it to handle carpets. And then you can customize the carpets depending on each room. So it will have the carpet on the map there populated for you. And you can choose how you want it to handle the carpets. We can set no-go zones. So you can do that right here by area or room. Where do you want it to not vacuum and mop, or just not vacuum, or just not mop? Drag and drop by area or room right there within the map. Then we got a heavily soiled room option too. This is pretty cool. It can automatically recognize heavily soiled rooms. You can identify that for even more thorough cleaning. And then you can also edit the floor plan. So a lot of options here. You can build out with furniture, floor type. All of that can be done right there within the map editing section. Then we have manage accessories. This just shows us when it's time to replace certain parts and components. And then further down, we have language and voice settings. We have AI obstacle avoidance. So you can choose to turn on or off real photo and agree to the privacy option. And then obstacle avoidance strategy of smart or safety, up to you which one you want to choose. Further down, help section, and lastly, third-party controls. This will work with Google, Amazon, and Apple if you want to set up voice controls for this robot. We also have the option to access the cameras for live video monitoring. This is great if you're out of the house, you want to keep an eye on your pets. Maybe you're upstairs asleep or taking a nap, you hear something downstairs, you want to activate your vacuum to go out and take a look for you. You can get really creative with the usage scenarios, but I love having this feature. Very practical, gives us more versatility out of our robot vacuum, actually starts to make it a home security device as well. Bottom left-hand corner, manual controls, we can drive it around. Top left-hand corner, we have a map here where we can pick and choose points on the map, and then we can execute the vacuum to go to that spot, which is what it's doing right now. We have a return to home button towards the top. We have our settings for our video monitoring. We also have a photo option here, so we can snap a quick pic. We can also take a video. We can take 60-second videos. Bottom right-hand corner, that little sweeper brush, that's going to be for vacuuming. You can initiate the robot to start vacuuming. And then we also have a microphone, two-way audio, if you want to talk and listen through the vacuum cleaner. So let's go ahead, let's record some video right here. We're at the location, which is really neat. Let's go to the map and let's do another room. Let's pick that spot there and let's go to the new destination. Rotates around 360 degrees. Now it's making its way to the new spot. As we pass other Narwal devices, get a feel for the lighting too. Couple overhead lights on. Some window light. This next room will be great. It's basically just going to be light leaking through the blinds. I believe the blinds are shut. Threshold, no big deal. Also, do you notice the blue down at the bottom? That's to give us real time perspective of how wide the vacuum is. So pretty cool. Once it gets to the spot, there we go. Really neat. And then again, we can drive it around. We can send it home. All of that. Video saved. Let's go ahead. Let's execute that home command and watch as it drives back home. Flawless. Look at that. Boom. There we go. It made its way back home. Really cool. So maybe you're wondering, hey, how does the Freo Z Ultra stack up against the competition? Well, let's find out. We'll be comparing it not only to within Narwhal's own brand product lineup, but also compared to the 70 plus robot vacuum cleaners that we've personally tested. We'll look at some key metrics as well as some features, and hopefully that'll give you a better feel for what you can expect out of a vacuum like this. We just want to assess the value at the end of the day and also help you understand what features it may or may not have so you can get exactly what you're looking for. Anyways, with that out of the way, first up is max suction power. This is measured in pascals. The Z Ultra has a 12,000 pascal suction power, substantial improvement from the typical Narwhal average, which as you can see is already substantially above your average robot vacuum. Typically, you want to see a higher value here because usually, not always, you're going to get a better real world clean. And same can be said with max CFM. The higher the better. Usually with this result, you get a better clean as well. But in a second, you'll see that's not always the case. We record this in-house. The Z Ultra peaked at 7 CFM. That's actually 0.5 below the typical Narwhal average, but right in line with your average robot vac. But how did it do in the real world? In our carpet deep cleaning test, we scored a 95 out of 100. That's 1 point above Narwhal's average and a solid 7 points above your typical robot vacuum. So with all that power, how loud is it? We measured the max decibels on the highest suction power with any sort of carpet boost enabled, and we measure this on carpets. So with these numbers, the higher the number, the louder your vacuum will be. We're right in line with Narwhal's brand average, but considering all that extra suction power, that's even more impressive. Now, that's still 1 decibel above the average robot vacuum, so technically it's louder, but you're not going to notice any difference between a 71 decibel vacuum cleaner and a 72 decibel vacuum cleaner if they're both in the room with you vacuuming. Next, we have battery life. This is measured in minutes. The Z Ultra comes in 20 minutes below Narwhal's brand average, but 20 minutes above your average robot vac. We see such a long runtime due to the large battery capacity, 5,200 milliamp hour battery capacity, definitely well above the average of only 3,900 milliamps. In regards to height, this is going to be the same size as your other Narwhal vacuums, and it's going to be slightly above your average typical robot vac of only 3.7 inches versus 4.2. This is because of the LiDAR navigation module. Most vacuums come in that 4-inch range if they are equipped with LiDAR. If they're not equipped with LiDAR, then we have the shorter height, which is why you see our average skewed a little lower. In regards to bin capacity, this is measured in milliliters. We can't find any published information on the size of this dustbin. Narwhal's brand average is 700 milliliters. Honestly, though, that average is very high because Narwhal has a unique disposable bin that they use on their other models, which is really cool. This is the first one that technically you have a disposable bin, but it's not the same style. This bin is replaceable. That's a better way to describe it. And this is equipped with self-empty, which their other vacuums don't have. So usually when you have self-empty, you have a smaller bin size. So I would expect this bin to be closer to your average robot vacuum cleaner's bin size in that 200 to 400 milliliter range. Now on to one of my favorite features that I'm so glad Narwhal has included in this model. It's about time. We haven't seen it in any other Narwhal models. Hot water mop washing measured in degrees Fahrenheit. The larger this value, the hotter the water will be. This has up to 167 degrees Fahrenheit hot water mop washing. That's well above the average of 149 degrees Fahrenheit. Typically that hotter water is going to help with those most stubborn stains, and it's going to help with any sort of bacterial buildup, things along those lines. It's going to be more hygienic to get that hotter water for your clean. But wait, there's more. This actually has AI hot water washing. This is so cool. I haven't seen this on any of the other robot vacs we've tested. AI is the future for robot vacs as well. Anyways, it's smart enough to detect how dirty the mop pads are, and depending on how dirty it is, it can adjust the water temp accordingly. So this can help reduce wear and tear on your mop pads, making them last longer, saving you money. Next, we got mop lift height. This is measured in millimeters, 12 millimeter mop lift height. That's a very solid and respectable mop lift. Narwhal's average is 11.3, and your average typical robot vacuum that supports mop lifting comes in at 10.1 millimeters. The higher this number, the better. It just prevents any extra margin of error for having your mop touch any sort of carpet or rug. So the higher the better is what you want to see here if you're really sensitive to having your mop pads make contact with carpets and rugs. Next up is Twin AI Dodge Obstacle Avoidance. So a lot of robot vacs out there do have some sort of object avoidance. And in the past, we've been critical of Narwhal's lineup and their Freo lineup of just not having the best obstacle avoidance that we've seen from competitors like Dreamy and Roborock, even some of iRobot's models too. But now they've leveled the playing field. This is a substantially upgraded version of obstacle avoidance. There's a lot of mumbo jumbo that goes into it, but basically it boils down to it's smart enough to see and process in color with multiple cameras using AI and computing to be able to really process everything and in real time. And it's smart enough to keep distance away from poop and pet waste and things like that. So it's very well thought out. So basically it can handle right now 120 complex obstacles around your house, and it does see and process. Now, is it going to be 100% perfect? No, none of them ever are. Is it one of the best that's out there today? Yes, it is. Along the same lines as obstacle avoidance and processing things in real time, this has real-time dry and wet mess recognition as well. Solid, cool feature that we have here. Basically, it adjusts your cleaning parameters in real time based on the mess on the surface of your floor. So if it encounters, let's say, a big wet mess or spill and it's vacuuming, it'll stop vacuuming. It'll make sure that these side brushes aren't spinning. It will activate the mop to clean it up for you, or vice versa with pet hair piles, cereal messes, things along those lines. It will increase suction power and handle the mess accordingly. The Z Ultra also has water sterilization. Haven't seen this feature on other vacuums yet either, and it's built into the side of the base. It lights up during the cleaning process, and it looks really cool. We also can't forget about the fuzzy tail feature, as I'm calling it. It's got a baseboard cleaning option. You put the fuzzy tail on the side of the vacuum as it goes along your baseboards or any piece of furniture, things like that. It will dust and wipe down and clean off the side of the vacuum, up a couple inches on your furniture, walls, or baseboards. I also want to add that I'm really excited about this feature because it gives me hope for the future that maybe they can make some sort of automatic baseboard cleaning and washing feature based off of this design, or using a mop pad or something like that. But with all the robotics and smart tech out there, maybe in the future you can have something come up and clean 4 or 6 inches along all of your baseboards with scrubbing water solution, all of that good stuff. So anyways, the sky's the limit with this technology. I also wanted to spend a minute to point out a couple of features that are absent on the Z Ultra that are found on some other flagship models at this price point that are going to be top of the line from, let's say, Dreamy or Roborock. The first one's a side-reaching brush where the brushes extend out. So the left or right brush will extend out. Typically, it's going to be your right side brush will extend out to help reach corners and other hard-to-reach areas. It's a really cool feature I'd like to see added to this in the future. Same with Mop Extend. Now, the Z Ultra does have a uniquely designed mop pad. It's more triangular to give better coverage, but there's no option for it to really kick out like we see on some other high-end models to help those, again, hard-to-reach areas, corners, under furniture, places where this can't go. It's nice to get a couple extra inches of clean. Mop pad removal's another one. Dreamy has spoiled me with this. I'm not sure if there's any sort of patent issues or things along those lines, but I can't wait for the future when mop lift goes away and all the vacuums out there are just smart enough to drop their mop pads at home in the base station, go ahead, go do their vacuuming, and then come back. They can put them on and then mop all the floors. So I'm looking forward to that future when every brand is able to have access or the ability to initiate that technology. It's way too cool. Lastly, let's talk about cost. This will really bring everything together to get a better feel for what you can expect out of a flagship model like this. You will pay a premium to be on the cusp of cutting edge. That's always been the case with these top of the line models. Compared to your average, you'll notice way more features and way better performance, but you are paying for it. So that's really the tension at the end of the day. How much of this do you need, and are you willing to pay for it? Only you can decide that. At the end of the day, let me share with you my final thoughts. Here's what you need to know. Some key takeaways after using and experiencing the Z Ultra. First up, some of the things it does really well. Mopping, hands down, fantastic mopping system. Does a great job with messes, and the cleaning is top notch. It has everything I always wanted out of the Narwal Freo lineup, so I'm glad we're finally seeing it here with hot water washing, hot air drying. They even gave us self-empty too. Nothing wrong with the unique way they did it with the disposable bags, but I like the old school self-empty style, and I'm glad that they're embracing it with this model. It's much needed. Also, just that refined cleaning experience overall with the improved obstacle avoidance, as well as all the AI processing and real-world environment and real-time interactions it can have, and sensing messes and things like that. Really top-notch and spectacular. The software is great on this. It's just jam-packed full of a lot of tech that's going to make your life easier and things you wouldn't even notice, but they're affecting the day-to-day clean of your vacuum that at the end of the day you appreciate with your cleaner floors. Also, the amount of customization is incredible in the app. They have so much for you to adjust. But along those same lines, with that being said, that could also be something that is overwhelming for people out there. There's almost too many things to customize, and I've always found it goofy how it processes carpet. You basically have to go through room by room and adjust the carpets after you've made your first map. So anyways, it's not that big of a deal, but compared to any other competitor out there, you don't have to do that. A lot of you might like that control. Some of you might be confused and be like, oh, hey, this doesn't clean my carpets. Help, what do? I can't find it. It's kind of hidden in there, and then you can go back and adjust how it wants to handle new carpets or rugs in the future. Just something that takes a little bit of getting used to if you're upgrading from a competing robot vacuum cleaner. Also, for some reason in the mobile app for us, when we go to the base station settings and then we want to exit back out of it, there's no like back button or anything we can find. Maybe it's still user error, but it feels like there's a little bit of a glitch in the app and we can't exit out of that spot without exiting out of the app completely and then going back in. So maybe we'll figure it out. Maybe there'll be an update in the future, but that one particular spot in the app seems like it needs a little bit of refining. And lastly, for some instances, cleaning around the house, it doesn't get as close to the walls as we think it should get, and we're not sure why that's the case. Maybe it's still learning the environment, maybe the cord around or something along those lines is making it think it's closer than it actually is, and it's taking the overly sensitive side, but it's something we'd like to see refined in the future. Wait. Before you go, I also wanted to mention the build quality is top notch. That carries over from Narwal's other products to this in the color options. We have two beautiful colors, but this space gray, it looks so good. It is now my favorite color that I've seen on a RoboVac. If that's important to you, well, in this case, this is a beautiful color to look at, and it's refreshing from your typical whites and blacks that you see out there. Anytime brands go out on a limb to make new colors for robot vacs, I'm always grateful and appreciative, even if it's not my favorite color, but in this case, this looks so good. Now, I'm just holding out hope for a special edition purple version someday with Narwhal's purple. That would be really, really cool, but this space gray, beautiful color.